Okay, so you sent over this report, new YouTube report, uncovers the secrets behind channel growth and why others struggle. Pretty interesting stuff. And it seems like what you really want to get into is what makes a YouTube channel work in 2025, right?
Yeah.
Especially with all these new creators and platforms popping up all the time.
Yeah, it's a wild world out there, that's for sure. And this report, it really digs into some big changes in how we think about success on YouTube.
For sure. It's not like the old days where you just needed a good camera, right?
Right. And this report, it kind of throws the old playbook right out the window. It says, forget production quality. The most important thing now is emotional connection.
Seriously? You mean viewers care more about how the video makes them feel than how slick it looks?
That's exactly what the data is showing. They even talked about this study in Italy where people said that how a video makes you feel is way more important than the technical stuff.
Wow, over 90% said that.
Yeah. They said, yeah, you got to have both, but emotions, that's the key.
So it's not just about making a good-looking video, it's about making people really feel something while they're watching.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. We see a ton of videos every day, right? What makes you want to subscribe to someone? It's got to be that connection, right? Like you're watching a friend, someone you trust.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Like somebody you get, you know?
But how do they even measure that, these emotional markers or whatever?
Well, they broke it down into a few things. Like, first, can it grab your attention? Does the video hook you right away? And then, is there a good story? Does it pull you in? And, of course, is it something new? Does the creator bring something different to the table?
Right, so it's not just about being, like, funny or trying to make people cry. It's got to be something deeper.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's about the whole experience.
Yeah.
And that's where being real, being authentic really comes in. People can totally tell if you're faking it, right?
Yeah.
They want to see the real you, the person behind the camera. And this is where the science gets wild. They actually look at people's brains while they were watching YouTube.
Whoa, hold on. Like their brains lit up or something.
Well, not quite. But there was definitely more activity when they were watching someone they felt was being real, someone they could relate to.
No way. So you're saying our brains are more active when we connect with the person on screen?
Totally. And get this. This also means people are more likely to remember the video and even the ads that are in it.
Whoa. So if you connect with your audience, the ads actually work better.
That's what they're finding. So it's good for everyone, the creators and the advertisers. When people feel that connection, they're more open to the message, you know. And this is all tied to something else the report talks about, trust. With all the fake news and stuff out there, people really want to know they're getting info from someone they can believe.
Oh, yeah, for sure. With all the deepfakes and clickbait these days, it's like, who can you even trust anymore?
Right. And so this is really interesting. The report actually found that people trust YouTube more than regular news.
Whoa, seriously, more than like the evening news and stuff.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
But I think it shows how people are changing who they trust. They're looking to individuals, the creators they feel like they know, rather than these big companies.
Like you were saying before, it's about that relationship, that feeling like you're getting info from a friend, not some big corporation.
Yeah. And that comes from being consistent, being yourself, and really wanting to connect with your audience, like really putting yourself out there.
So we've got emotional connection, authenticity, and trust. That's like the trifecta for YouTube success. But the report, it also had that whole thing about the new YouTube accounts, right? The experiment.
Right. They wanted to see, you know, how much the viewers themselves affect how much they like YouTube. So they got this group of people to make brand new accounts and start using the platform.
So they had like a totally clean slate, no recommendations or anything familiar.
Exactly. And at first, they weren't as happy as the people using their regular accounts. You know, no surprise there. But here's the cool part. As they started making their feed their own, exploring different stuff, and interacting with creators, what do you think happened?
I'm guessing they started enjoying it more.
Exactly. The more they put into making their YouTube experience their own, the more they liked it. It's like this psychological thing. The more we invest in something, the more we value it, you know?
It's like creating your own little world on YouTube, right? Stuff you like and things you're into.
Totally. And this is interesting not just for viewers, but for advertisers too, right? Because as people get more invested in their experience on YouTube, they're also more open to seeing ads that fit with what they like and who they watch.
So it's not just about throwing any old ad at people. It's got to be part of the experience.
Exactly. It's got to feel natural. And this brings us back to being authentic, because when people trust a creator, they'll also trust the brands that that creator works with. You know what I mean?
It all connects. Okay, this is all making a lot of sense. But what about the algorithm? Where does that fit in?
That's a great question. And that leads us to one of the most mind-blowing parts of this whole report. They're saying that the algorithm itself might actually be changing, evolving, along with what we all want to see.
Wait, so the algorithm's learning from us, like it's getting smarter and more personalized over time.
That's the idea. Think about it. Millions and millions of people are using YouTube all the time.
Right.
Right. Clicking, liking, commenting. All that stuff is feeding the algorithm data, helping it figure out what we want to see.
So it's like we shape the algorithm, and then the algorithm shapes what we see. That's crazy.
It really is. And as AI gets even more advanced, who knows what will happen? Imagine an algorithm that knows what you want before you even do. Like it knows you need a good laugh or something.
Hold on, now that's getting kind of creepy. What if it knows I need a laugh before I even realize it?
Right. It could be like, here's a playlist of hilarious videos just for you. Or if it senses you're feeling down, it could suggest something inspiring, or something that'll motivate you to try something new, like having a personal AI assistant for your entertainment.
Whoa, that's wild. Like, it could pick out the perfect videos for me, even if I don't know what I want.
Exactly. And think about what that means for how we find new things, connect with others, even how we see ourselves. It's powerful stuff, and it's really important to understand how it all works for viewers and for creators, too.
Okay, so we've got the emotional side of YouTube being authentic and this whole algorithm thing. That's a lot. But I want to go back to the technical stuff for a minute. The report mentions something about that too, right? Like the technical markers of quality.
Oh, right, yeah. So while the emotional connection is super important, the technical stuff still matters, Things like how good the video and audio are, how it's edited, the pacing, and all that. Like the overall quality of the production.
So even if your video is super interesting and you're being totally real, if the sound's awful or it's choppy, it's not going to be good, right?
No, not really. I mean, you're way more likely to watch something if it looks good and is easy to follow. It shows that the creator put in effort and cares about their audience.
Yeah, true. So it's about finding a balance, right, between making people feel something and making it look good.
Exactly. And the cool thing is the technology is always getting better. You can make really high-quality videos even without a big budget now. So don't let that stop you from sharing your stuff with the world,
Yeah, I love that. So for all the people out there who want to be YouTubers, what's the one thing they should take away from all this? What's the best advice from this report?
Make videos that people feel connected to and that are technically good, Find your own voice, be real, connect with your audience, and don't be afraid to try different things. And remember, the algorithm's your friend. The more you know about how it works, the better you can use it to reach the people you want to reach.
Great advice. But what about me as a viewer? How can I be more aware of the algorithm and how it's working?
Pay attention to the recommendations you get. Like, why are those videos showing up? What's the pattern? Are you seeing lots of different viewpoints? Or are you stuck in like an echo chamber? Knowing how the algorithm shapes what you see can make you a smarter viewer, more in control.
So it's about taking charge of our online experience, not just being passive, right?
Totally. The future of all this stuff isn't just about the tech. It's about the choices we make, both the viewers and the creators. And those choices, they can really shape the internet for years to come.
Wow, that's deep. So next time I'm on YouTube, I'm going to think more about what I'm clicking on and why. But speaking of choices, this report had some stuff for advertisers too, right?
Yeah. It's saying that advertisers need to, update their game plan because of how YouTube is changing. The old ways of advertising, like those annoying ads that interrupt everything, they're not working as well anymore. People are getting smarter and skipping those.
Yeah, like those pre-roll ads that we all skip through. I guess those aren't the best way to go anymore.
They might still work sometimes. But advertisers need to get more creative and think about how they can make their ads part of the content that people actually want to watch.
So it's got to be a natural fit, something that makes sense with the video itself.
Exactly. And this all comes back to emotions, Advertisers need to make campaigns that people connect with emotionally, not just throw facts and numbers at them.
So it's like storytelling, right? Using a story to get people's attention and make them remember it.
Right. And that's why working with the right creators is so important. They got to find creators who share their values and who have a real connection with their audience,
So it's not just about paying the most popular person. It's about finding a real partnership where everyone benefits, right?
Yeah, that's when the good stuff happens. When people see an ad that feels real and fits their interests, they're more likely to pay attention and even do something about it.
It's a win-win for everyone then. The viewers get good content, the creators get paid, and the advertisers reach the people they want to reach.
Yeah, ideally. But it means changing the way we think about advertising, moving away from the old ways and thinking more about the audience and working together.
So the future of advertising on YouTube is all about relationships, trust, and connecting with people on a deeper level.
I like that. It's about going beyond just buying and selling and creating something that has real value for everyone.
That's awesome. Okay, wow. We've talked about so much: emotional connection, authenticity, the algorithm changing, and the future of advertising. YouTube's a pretty crazy place.
It is, and it's become so much more than just a place to watch videos. It's like part of our culture now.
Yeah.
It shapes how we learn about things, how we connect with people, even how we see the world.
But when you get down to it, it's all about human connection, right? Those moments where you laugh or you learn something or you feel understood, that's what makes YouTube special.
Totally. And that's what we should all remember as we figure out this whole digital world thing. Whether you're making videos, watching videos, or advertising, remember that people are at the heart of it all. Focus on making real connections, building trust, and doing something good with your content. That's how you succeed on YouTube and everywhere else.
Well said. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop for now. But before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Sure, go ahead.
You know, the lines between the real world and the online world, they're getting blurrier and blurrier. So what do you think YouTube's role will be in shaping our future? Will it connect us and help us understand each other better? Or will it divide us and mess with our sense of reality?
That's a tough question, and it's one we all need to think about. YouTube's future is up to us, really. Let's make sure we use it in a good way.
So true. Well, on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that question and keep exploring the amazing world of YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
And thanks for having me. This was great.
Yeah, this was really interesting, and I'm excited for what we have next week. We'll be back next week to continue this deep dive into YouTube, and I think next week we'll really get into how all this stuff works in the real world with real creators. We'll be talking to some successful YouTubers who are using these ideas every day to grow their channels and connect with their audiences.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. See you next time.
See ya.
Well,
Yeah, it's like the algorithm is learning from all of us as we use it.
right. Every click, every like, every comment, it's all feeding this giant machine, helping it figure out what we're into.
Exactly. And the thing is, AI is getting so much more advanced, it's almost scary to think about what's possible. Like, what if the algorithm could, figure out what you're looking for before you even do? Like, imagine it knows you need a good laugh, right? Before you even realize it.
That's kind of wild, but also a little creepy. Like, what if it's reading my mind?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It could be like, hey, you seem stressed. Here's a playlist of funny cat videos just for you. Or maybe it senses you're feeling, I don't know, uninspired. It could suggest videos about things you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Like almost like a personal assistant, but for your entertainment.
That's pretty amazing. Like, it could help you discover new things or even help you work towards your goals.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. This kind of AI could totally change how we discover new ideas, connect with people, even how we see ourselves. It's powerful stuff, and we really need to understand how it works. Both for viewers and creators, it's a game changer.
Okay, so we've talked about the feels, being authentic, and this whole algorithm evolution thing. It's a lot to take in. But I want to circle back to the technical side of things for a sec. The report mentioned those technical markers of quality. What exactly does that mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So while the emotional connection is key, the technical stuff still matters, like how good the video and audio are, the editing, how fast or slow it is,
Okay.
the pacing. It's basically how well made the video is overall.
So even if your content is super engaging and you're being totally real, if the audio is terrible or the editing is all over the place, it's going to take away from the experience.
Definitely. Think about it. You're more likely to stick with a video that looks good and is easy to follow. It shows that the creator cares about their work and respects their audience's time.
Right, that makes sense. So it's like finding that balance between like making people feel something and making the video look good too.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, technology is always getting better. You can make really high-quality videos these days, even if you don't have a ton of money. Don't let that hold you back from sharing your story with the world.
I love that. So for all those aspiring YouTubers out there, what's the big takeaway? What's the one piece of advice you'd give them based on this report?
That's a good question. I think the most important thing is to create content that both connects with people emotionally and is well made. Find your own voice, be yourself, engage with your audience, and don't be afraid to experiment. And remember, the algorithm is your friend. Learn how it works, and you can use it to reach your audience.
Great advice. But what about me as a viewer? How can I be more aware of the algorithm and how it's affecting what I see?
Pay attention to your recommendations. Like, think about why those specific videos are showing up in your feed. What patterns do you see? Are you getting exposed to different perspectives, or is it just the same stuff over and over? Being aware of the algorithm can help you be a more informed viewer.
So it's about being more intentional, taking control of our online experience instead of just passively scrolling.
Exactly. The future of content isn't just about the technology, it's about the choices we make. And those choices, they have the power to really shape the internet.
Wow, that's powerful. So next time I'm scrolling through YouTube, I'm going to be more mindful of what I'm clicking on and why. But speaking of choices, this report had some interesting insights for advertisers too, right?
Yeah, for sure. The report basically says that advertisers need to adapt because YouTube is changing. Like those old school interruptive ads, those aren't as effective as they used to be. People are way more savvy these days.
Like those pre-roll ads that everyone just skips through. I guess those are kind of a dinosaur now, huh?
Maybe not extinct just yet, but they need to evolve. Advertisers need to think outside the box and figure out how to integrate their message into the content people actually want to watch.
So the ads need to be a natural fit, almost like they belong there.
Exactly. It needs to feel seamless. And this goes back to the emotional connection thing. Advertisers need to create campaigns that resonate with people on a deeper level, not just throw facts and figures at them.
So it's about telling a story, right? Using a narrative to grab people's attention and make them remember the message.
You got it. And that's where finding the right creators is so important. They need to find people who share their brand's values and who have a genuine connection with their audience.
So it's about more than just throwing money at the biggest influencer. It's about finding the right fit, right? Where the creator and the brand genuinely align.
Right. That's where the magic happens. When viewers see an ad that feels authentic and relevant to their interests, they're more likely to actually engage with it and even take action.
So everyone wins. The viewers get great content, the creators get paid, and the advertisers reach the people they want to reach. It's a win-win-win.
That's the goal, right. But it requires a new way of thinking about advertising. It's about moving away from those old models and toward a more collaborative and audience-focused approach.
So the future of advertising on YouTube is all about building relationships, trust, and connecting with people in a more meaningful way.
That's a great way to put it. It's about going beyond just a simple transaction and creating something with real value for everyone involved.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot here. Emotional connection, authenticity, the algorithm, the future of advertising. It's clear that YouTube is constantly changing and evolving.
It really is. And it's become so much more than just a place to watch videos. It's this huge cultural phenomenon that's shaping how we see the world and how we connect with each other.
But in the end, it all comes back to that human connection, right? Those moments where we laugh together, learn something new, or just feel understood. That's what makes YouTube special.
Absolutely. And that's something we should all remember as we navigate this crazy digital world, whether you're a creator, a viewer, or an advertiser. Always remember that people are at the heart of it all. Focus on building genuine connections, fostering trust, and creating content that makes a difference. That's how you succeed on YouTube and everywhere else.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But before we wrap this up, I wanted to touch on something you mentioned earlier, that idea that the algorithm could potentially understand our unspoken desires. I mean, that's both fascinating and a little scary, right?
Definitely. It brings up all these questions about privacy, control, and the possibility of manipulation. Like, if the algorithm knows us better than we know ourselves, could it be used to influence our thoughts and beliefs?
That's a big what if. We're already seeing how algorithms can create these filter bubbles and reinforce our existing biases. But if they start predicting our wants and needs before we even know them, that's a whole new level.
It's definitely a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it could lead to amazing things like personalized education, entertainment, and even healthcare. Imagine an algorithm that could detect early signs of depression or anxiety and connect people with the help they need.
That would be incredible. But then there's the flip side, What if it's used to exploit our weaknesses or manipulate us without us even realizing it? It's a slippery slope.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to talk about these issues openly and honestly. We need to be aware of both the potential benefits and risks of this kind of technology, and we need to find ways to make sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values and principles that guide how it's developed and used.
100%. And it's a conversation that needs to include everyone. The tech developers, policymakers, and everyday users like us. We all have a responsibility to shape the future of this powerful technology.
Okay, so as we move forward into this world of algorithms and AI, we need to be cautious, but also optimistic.
Exactly. We need to be aware of the potential dangers, but we also need to be open to the incredible opportunities. It's a really exciting time, and it's up to us to make sure technology serves humanity, not the other way around. But this report was about YouTube, so let's bring it back to that. Knowing all this now, how do you define success on YouTube?
I don't think it's just about getting a ton of views and subscribers anymore. It's about creating something that truly resonates with people, that builds genuine connections, and that makes a lasting impact. It's about being real, building trust, and using your platform to make the world a better place.
That's a great way to put it. Success on YouTube isn't just about going viral. It's about making a real contribution. But you originally sent a few different articles about YouTube, right? Not just this report.
Right. There was this article from The Verge, why YouTube is still the king of online video in 2025. And then that opinion piece is YouTube's algorithm killing creativity. Like a whole mixed bag.
Yeah, they each bring something different to the table. That Verge article, it's all about how YouTube is still on top, even with all the new platforms coming out. They say it's because YouTube's always adapting, changing things up, adding new features to keep everyone interested.
Yeah, that part about how YouTube is like the place to go for every kind of video, that was interesting. Tutorials, music videos, live streams, even, podcasts.
Totally. It's become like this one-stop shop for all things video. And that's definitely one of its strengths.
Yeah.
It's got something for everyone.
But then you've got that opinion piece. Is YouTube's algorithm killing creativity? It's like, whoa, hold on. They're saying that the algorithm's focus on watch time and engagement is pushing creators to chase trends and just try to go viral instead of being true to themselves.
That's a real concern for sure. A lot of creators are struggling with that.
Yeah.
The algorithm can be amazing for getting discovered, but it can also make you feel like you have to fit in to do what everyone else is doing.
It's like, how do you balance being yourself with making content that the algorithm will like so people can actually find you?
It's a tough one. That's why understanding the algorithm is so important. It's not about tricking it. It's about working with it, finding a way to make it work for you and your creative goals.
So it's like finding that sweet spot where your own vision and what the algorithm wants line up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the algorithm's always changing. YouTube is constantly tweaking things, trying new things. So what works today might not work tomorrow.
Creators got to be on their toes then, always learning, adapting, keeping up with the changes.
That's part of the challenge and the fun of YouTube, right? It's always moving, always evolving. It's not easy, but it can be super rewarding.
Okay, so we've gone over the changes in YouTube, the importance of connecting with people, how the algorithm works, and the challenges and opportunities for creators and advertisers. That's a lot.
It is. And it really shows how YouTube has become way more than just a website for videos, right? It's like this cultural force that affects how we see information, how we connect, how we see the world.
But at the heart of it, it's all about those human connections, right? Those moments when you share a laugh or get inspired or feel like someone gets you. That's what makes YouTube so great.
I couldn't agree more. And that's something we should all remember as we navigate this digital world, whether we're making content, watching it, or using it to advertise. It's all about the people, right? Focus on making real connections, building trust, and using your platform to do something good. That's what matters most.
Awesome. I think that wraps things up perfectly. Thanks for sharing your insights. This was a really enlightening conversation.
My pleasure. I always enjoy talking about this stuff.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, but this is just the beginning of our deep dive into the world of YouTube. Be sure to tune in next week when we'll be talking to some real-life creators who are using these strategies to build successful channels and connect with their audiences. They'll share their tips, their challenges, and their insights on what it takes to thrive in the ever-evolving landscape of online video. And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to start your own YouTube journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep connecting. See you then.